Hi, Neil here from Camberley Net, and today I am with an amazing guest. It's Adam Morris.
That's a nice introduction. Thank you very much, Neil.
Yeah, of course, Adam Morris from Eagle Radio.
Yes.
I just have to put that in there, you know.
So I do mornings on Eagle Radio.
Mornings on, and you also sometimes do the breakfast show as well.
Yeah, and when the other guy, PG, who you might have heard of, when he's on one of his...
Can't think. Yeah. Sorry.
Rings a very distant bell.
Yeah.
When he's on one of his many holidays, which is about 50% of the year, then he makes me get up early instead of him.
Yes, it's very much a friendly station. You all tend to do each other's jobs.
We do, yeah. And that happens both on the radio and off air as well. We're always getting each other's backs and covering all sorts of stuff.
Because you are a very busy station, very busy. Not only on air, but you do your on the street things. You're handing out leaflets. You've got the latest thing, the app at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's all radio these days. It's more than what comes out the speakers. It's about what you're doing in the community in terms of Christmas light switch-ons and fireworks displays, just getting out on the street and meeting people. As a local radio station, you're in the unique and privileged position to be able to do that. We're not being pumped out of a studio in London somewhere. It's a radio station that exists and operates in the community.
I mean, I've been to Eagle, and it is a really nice station. It must be, when you get there, you must I can't believe I'm actually doing this job.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? So have you been to our new place down at the Guildford College?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it?
It is. It's really clean. It's bright. Yeah. When you walk in, you've got that little photograph thing, so you can stand in front and have your picture taken.
Yeah, it's cool.
Eagle Radio, and it's just amazing. And also, you accept people. They're coming off the street, and it's like, oh, hello, and everyone's very friendly. It's a lovely place to go. Really nice.
Yeah, we're very lucky. It's a nice, fairly new studio complex we've got. It's only a few years old there, so it's a really nice place to work, and the technology.
You have to say that, don't you?
Yeah, it is so. And the technology is state of the art, and it backs us up really well. It's all about having, as I'm sure you know, the best tools to do the best possible job you can.
Well, that's right. And you've got 3 or 4 studios there, because you've got Eagle, then you've got your digital studios as well. Yeah.
So we operate a number of services from Eagle Radio. So we've got Eagle Radio, we've got Eagle 70s, which is a digital 70s radio station, Eagle 80s as well, which is another sister station, and we've got a nice little performance area as well, so a soundproof studio where we can invite artists in. So Ollie Murs has been in and done an acoustic set in there, so we can interview him in a normal radio studio and then get a really high quality video of him doing his latest single, for example.
And he can do that actually live, so it's not recorded, he actually does it live.
He can play live on the radio, record it into the studio, or stream it on Facebook. We've got all of that stuff set up and ready to go, which is cool.
Facebook streaming, who'd have thought, Facebook Live, yeah. Well, enough of Eagle Radio, because although I'm sure we could talk about Eagle Radio for a very long time, I want to talk about you.
Yes.
I want people to know Adam Morris.
Yeah.
So where did Adam Morris start? Where did he come from? Let's get down to the bare bolts of this.
How early do you want to go, Neil?
About 10.
I can't remember that far back. It's about 40 years ago. So in terms of growing up, I was a piano player, studied music at university.
Classically trained pianist.
Yeah.
Does that mean you did orchestral things and you played in front of loads of people, or?
Bits and bobs of that, yeah. I was always a shy performer on the piano, or not shy, nervous, I think. And the classical music scene obviously is so competitive and so demanding. It's a really scary environment to go and do a classical music recital, particularly if you're at a university full of scholars and academics who've seen it all over the years, and they're just, how's he getting on?
Were you like the strange kid who sort of like just worked his way in, or were you actually really good at what you did? And because sometimes you get the kids off the streets and they're really, really good pianists, like you obviously were, and then you get the others who just come from money and family and things like that and just sort of like float along. So did you have to work your way into getting into the piano?
I was lucky enough that I was able to have piano lessons when I was growing up. So I started that when I was 6, and I just carried on. I've taught a lot of piano over the years, and you get you get to a natural point with a lot of students who've got everything that they can out of playing the piano, and there's a natural point where it's time to finish, because it's obviously not going to be what they do long term. They've got a lot out of it, and that's it. So I just stuck with it, and then did music at university, and spent a lot of time in practice rooms. That's what people don't realise about music. You spend a lot of time on your own. So I was at King's College London's where I went, and at the time, I don't know what it's like now, but the practice rooms were all in the basement.
Yeah.
So it'd be just off the Strand in central London, one of the most populated parts of Europe.
And you were on your own?
And you're on your own in a basement with a piano for 5 hours a day.
You can understand why pianists don't talk a lot, really, can't you?
Yeah.
Because they've got nothing to say.
Solitary life, and the discipline you need to kind of sit and genuinely practice scales for an hour on your own is you need to be able to focus.
Yeah,
I can't do that anymore.
I can imagine. So Adam Morris, classically trained pianist. You then decided that. Oh, just out of interest, my wife will have to know. What grade did you get up to?
So, do you want me to show off here?
Go on then.
Grade 8 was a prerequisite for university.
Yeah.
So I did grade 8 before I went to university, and then that's the highest one. So you do that, and then you go and.
So you can teach after that.
Yeah. So you do grade 8, and then you go and learn how to really play the piano, which is a scary thing. You think I've done the highest grade. Surely that's it. And then you meet someone who's a million times better than you. It's a scary world. But yeah, I do teach. I've taught since I was 16, 17, and I continue to do so, actually.
That's really good.
Yeah, I enjoy it. I like that one-to-one coaching and the relationship you have when you're teaching.
Well, there are a lot of adults now who are getting back into the piano, aren't they?
Yeah.
It's something they missed when they were a kid. So I always wanted to learn to play the guitar.
Yeah.
When I was at school, I really wish I learned to play the guitar. So kids, if your parents say to you, do you want to learn an instrument? The word is yes, you do. Because when you get older, it becomes a lot more difficult to learn how to play.
I'd be happy to teach you the guitar, but I can't play it myself. So.
I played the drums for about 3 weeks, and then I had to get rid of them. Mum had enough.
An order from Surrey Heath Council.
Yeah.
I really love teaching. I teach a couple of students in Camberley, including one retired chap who's doing some boogie woogie piano. He's doing really well with it, so it's fun, and it's it translates back into whatever your job is. I think that one-to-one coaching and development that you do as a piano teacher with a student, it helps in a whole load of different areas. So when you say, if you're talking to your kids, do you want piano lessons or music lessons? It's not just playing the guitar or banging the drums. That the skills and experience you get from it transfers to a whole load of different areas: self-esteem, confidence, leadership.
Yeah. So we've got Adam Morris, who's got his degree or whatever it is in playing the piano, in music. Okay, so first class honours. Oh, well done. So you got these first class honours.
PG got a 2-2, so just.
Oh, okay. All right.
Sorry, go on.
Where did you go with that? You thought, right, I've got this. What can I do with this?
So I was at university in my final year, and I became interested in radio, and I think it was for two reasons. I remember my dad coming home from work and talking at dinner about something funny or interesting that he'd heard on the radio, and I'm sure that just twigged as a good thing,
Yeah.
For someone to come back 10 hours after they'd heard a thing and say, I heard this earlier, it was really good or funny or interesting. And then I got a car, and of course when you're driving a lot, driving around doing your music lessons or whatever, I spent a lot more time in the car listening to the radio. I thought that sounds fun, and it just caught my imagination.
Yeah, and so you sort of like started to hone your radio skills then, or on how to get into radio, because it is really difficult to break into radio.
It's tough, and it's tougher now than it ever has been.
Yes, I've tried and failed.
So I didn't ever make pretend radio shows. I know you were saying to me earlier.
When you're 8, you're there with your 2 tape recorders, doing a bit of talking, and then trying to get the tape recorders to work, and then having a third one which you recorded on.
Yeah. I remember listening to the iPod. One of those big early iPods, the thick ones.
Yes.
And I remember imagining what I would say between the songs and how that would sound, and just thinking, I'm sure I could do that. But I never actually had a go. And then then I just started writing some places for work experience in my last year of university, and I wrote to a chap at a radio station called Capital Disney, which many people remember fondly.
Capital Disney?
When I say many, about 5. No, it was a joint venture between the Capital Radio company and Disney. So it's a radio station aimed at young people. So I managed to get work experience there. So I was at college on the Strand at King's College, and I used to walk down to Leicester Square a couple of times a week, and I'd do work experience on the evening show, which was like a live evening show aimed at teenagers. And ordinarily an evening show isn't what you'd call your prime bit of output, but for a kids radio station it actually used to get figures that were almost as good as the breakfast show, because it would be kids doing their homework, listening.
Is that because you used to leave the window open and then it used to go out? Is it?
So that was great. So I did work experience there, and I flitted for a while between these two lives, where one minute I'd be sat in a grand old music room at King's College London with the dark pictures of miserable looking scholars in gold frames, all of that
yes,
stuff. It's like Natural Trust property.
That musty smell and
all of that, and the pianos, and really, writing a fugue in the style of J.S. Bach under exam conditions, and then would be playing McFly songs, and I'd be messing around in Leicester Square 3 hours later, and it was a big change.
And you thought, this is the way I want to go.
Which one of those do I enjoy the most? Now, let me see. Fugue in the style of Bach or McFly, obviously?
Well, obviously.
Thank you.
I mean, the radio, it's just because it's one of those things. It just keeps going and going and going, doesn't it? There's no end. There's no right way or wrong way to do radio, really. You're marked by your audience. If you do a show and you get like 2 people, you do a show you get like 3 million people. You know that you have to tweak it a bit.
Yeah.
So from there, you went on to. I take you worked full time, or you went into full time work?
Yeah. So I got offered a daily show the day after I graduated from university. So that was a bit of good luck, really. It was just the right one person leaving at the right time, and I was waiting in the wings and had done the right things. So I went and I took over evenings at Capital Disney, and I was there for, I can't remember how long, but it went under, sadly. So we were made redundant. I think the 2 companies who invested in it were going in different directions, and they just said, you know what, let's not do this anymore. So then I went out and became a freelancer, and I went back to my native Essex and freelanced around the east coast of England. So radio stations that are still there, a lot of them. So there was a station in Chelmsford I used to go to, Colchester, Ipswich, Norwich, Radio Norwich at one point.
Radio Norwich?
Norfolk Radio. So that whole part of the East Coast. And I remember doing a breakfast show at one radio station and finishing at 10 and going to do drive 35 miles up the road on the next one. So I double shifting, they called that. Breakfast on one, drive on the next. And I did that, and that was great because it throws you in the deep end from just the thing of saying a different station name the same day.
Yeah.
It's, that
just don't get your stations mixed up there,
exactly.
do you?
Yeah, exactly. Some of us did. And that was great, going into different stations, different desk setups. It really helps you get that coordination of controlling a desk.
Yeah.
As you said, fitting in with the needs, the commercial needs and styles of different stations. So I did that, and then I got a full-time contract there to do a network show, which was across 6 radio stations in the evenings, which was a really great job on paper. So nice evening show, 6 decent radio stations, and because it was networked, it would attract some decent celebrity guests would want to come on, because then they can hit 6 stations at once and not have to keep driving
around. Yeah,
it's tough in those limos.
Back in the old days when they used to go and actually used to do something, not just sit in the studio somewhere.
yeah, exactly. So on paper it was good, but in reality I was sat 7 till midnight every night in a car park in an industrial estate in Ipswich, and it was actually really lonely, which people don't realise. So you're taking your news feed from Sky News. The journalists had all gone home. I'd be on my own in this building for 5 hours a night, and it was so dark. It was just off the A14 near Ipswich, and it was so dark there because they turned off all the lights to save money, in the car park.
Yeah.
I couldn't find my car one night. I genuinely couldn't. I had to take a torch out to find it. I couldn't remember where I'd put it, and I was walking around the building with a torch to find the actual car, and it was good on paper, but I knew that wasn't going to be a long-term thing.
Yeah, but let's say it was good on the CV, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was great, and I did some good stuff there, and got a lot out of it.
Oh, hang on a minute. Producers going like that. I think we're going to carry on. We're going to carry on because I'm actually quite interested. I hate to tell you this, I am actually quite interested. The story of Adam Morris is just like I want to hear the next phase. Come on, so you're in the studio, you're finding your car with the torch. So I take it you parted ways with that studio or that company, and then you went somewhere else?
Yeah, so I then moved up to Aylesbury in Buckinghamshire, which isn't a million miles from where we are now, and did a breakfast show on a radio station called Mix 96. So I got that job, I did that for about 3.5 years, learnt a lot, learnt what it's like getting up at 4:30 in the morning every day.
So you've done a lot of breakfast shows?
I've done a lot of breakfast cover, and that was a full-time show.
Yeah.
So while I was there, the company that owned Eagle Radio acquired the company that owned Mix 96, and then I went for a breakfast show conference at a station in Guildford called Eagle Radio, and there I met our dear PG, and
bless his cotton socks.
That sort of opened the door for me to come to Guildford, which I did in 2011 now, ages ago.
And you're still there now?
Still there, yeah. Lots of whizzing around all over the place, and then I settled down in Guildford.
Do they give you like a little Eagle car to race around in?
Nah.
No? Nah. I remember back in the old days you used to have Eagle cars and things like that.
We've got a load of them still. I haven't got one though.
Yeah.
They're there.
You're not that posh.
They're still whizzing around. There you go.
Yeah. So okay, so we've done the radio bit. Let's ask some bit more off the beaten track questions. Like, with your all the jobs you've done over the years, okay, what would you say is probably the worst job, but you've had to do it because it was a job? I mean, I actually worked for a company. He keeps looking at his watch. You notice that? Well, mine was working for a company in sales, and I hated it. And I was there 3 months, and that was it. I walked away from it. So, I mean, have you got a job which is like, do you know what? I really, really hated it, and I had to stick it out for a bit.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, I think it was retail.
Oh.
It was in a music shop, which had quite a nice synergy with my interests, obviously. But in reality, this was in Essex. Getting in at kind of 8 on a Saturday morning when you're a teenager, that seems like 3 in the morning, doesn't it? Having to be somewhere at 8 and polishing the guitars, and then it was like painting the Golden Gate Bridge. So many guitars that by the time you'd finished, there was dust settling on the first one, and you'd have to go back and start again. And it was just that environment that I found tricky, making them nice again.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wasn't great, but I've been fairly lucky in terms of work. I haven't had anything that I've really hated. That was just dull.
Every day, wasn't it? Yeah.
It was dull doing them guitars.
Yeah. Okay. The last question, because we are going to have to start wrapping it. I could carry on talking forever, as my wife keeps telling me. Whereabouts do you see yourself in the next few years? I mean, obviously, Eagle Radio is a big, predominant part of your life. I mean, would you want to work your way up the scale there?
Yeah, I love Eagle Radio, and I like the role it plays in the community here in places like Camberley and Aldershot and Farnborough, and my aim is to stay with the company and see what else I can achieve.
Well, I mean, you're already doing. Would you do Eagle 70s, isn't you?
Yeah, I'm on Eagle Sevs. Yeah. So we call it the Sevs.
The Sevs.
We don't want to waste syllables in this.
Oh,
job.
sorry. So what's 8? Is it 8s?
Unfortunately, it is. Yeah. Oh. We call it the 8s. Yeah. This is only in the office. You understand?
Yeah. So okay, so you do the Sevs, and then you also do your other bits and pieces for Eagle Radio, which is you're running around and handing out leaflets and things like that. But you're on the more of is it like the production side of things, saying what can actually go out? Yeah.
So I'm deputy content director. So Peter Gordon is a director of the output of the radio station. across all platforms. So I'm his deputy. So I look after kind of day-to-day operations and programming of the radio station.
Blimey.
From writing scripts to doing catch-ups with
Scripts?
presenters.
It's scripted.
Some
It's
of it
actually
is.
scripted.
I know. So yeah, so that's great, and I enjoy that that opportunity to be a leader, really, as well as just a radio guy.
Yeah, you just don't turn up, do your radio show and go home.
No, my mum still thinks I just do 4 hours a day, but I'm like, no, it's more than that. It's an actual job. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But it is.
It's because you enjoy it. That's why the parents go, yeah. It's not a real job.
Yeah, it can't be.
It's not a real job. You're having fun. It's like,
You're not coming back covered in sweat and grease and stinking hard work.
Yeah.
No, it's great. Really good.
Well, it's been lovely talking to you, Adam.
And you.
Thank you very much. And I really hope we can get a few more Eagle presenters to talk to.
I am the best one though, so don't be too hasty.
Okay, all right.
I'm joking. I'll
we
see what I
start
can do.
high and then work our way down. Yeah.
Yeah. And when you're really hard up, I'm sure Pete will give you 15 minutes. But I'll have
we can't afford him. we can't afford. We'd love to. We can't afford him. We've got no budget, as you know. You've had your Coke. That's fine. Yeah. So, okay. Thank you very much, Adam.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
And I'm Sian.
We're from Centre for Dentistry in Camberley.
And you're watching Camberley Net.